Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being part and parcel of our show. So, Wafula.Chebukati is trending again at number one. And when Wafula is trending, two things that you must take to the bank. Number one, he will never be trending for any good reasons. That is one reason you can take to the bank. Anytime you see Wafula.Chebukati trending, is not trending for any good reasons. Number two, majority of Kenyans have actually taken to the social media and they have killed Wafula.Chebukati. They've assassinated him, I can assure you. In fact, if what is being said in social media could turn out to be true, Wafula would be no more. In fact, let me tell you, if Kenyans would wake up today to headlines that Wafula is dead, it will be a holiday. And the reason why Wafula.Chebukati is trending is because of some news that was aired by NTV that revealed that there are schools in Rift Valley, unimaginary schools, ghost schools that exist, that the signboards exist, but they are not there. And it was explained that these schools have got school board members and they've got bank accounts. In fact, if you look at one of the extra from the NTV, it says signboards, gates of schools that don't exist spotted in Baringo. The ghost schools are said to have bank accounts, board members, but have no students or classrooms. And Kenyans picked that very fast, that this could have been the ghost polling stations that aided Ruto's victory. And if you look at one of the pictures that are trending there, we have got, this is Baringo North constituency in Baringo, where William Ruto got 37,635,000 votes, and Raila got 923. Registered voters are 50,237, valid vote 36,630, and all that, and they can see discrepancies because Wajakoya 56 and Wahiga 16. And when you further look at what Kenyans are now posting, they are explaining. One of the schools that has been mentioned as Kaptioni Girls, Kenyans took to social media and they're saying that this was one of the polling stations in Baringo. Yet NTV is revealing that this school never existed. There are a lot in social media. And let me say that if this is true, because as you can see, the arrow there is pointing at Kaptioni Girls, the very, very school that has been found to be non-existent, but the gates are well erected and they allegedly have got live board members and bank accounts. And NTV simply said that the schools are being used to rob the government of capitation fee. But Kenyans are saying this is not just about capitation fee. These are schools that were used to rob Raila of his victory. And you know, one funny thing is that these schools are coming from, or they are found in Rift Valley, Ruto's backyard. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans have not healed. That's why they're saying that Chebukati played them and they wish him dead. But if this would be true, I don't know what Koome would say. I don't know what Meg Whitman would say, because these are people who, in my personal opinion, aided the victory of William Samoei Ruto. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching for the first time. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you whenever we do a video like this. And thank you for your continued support. Please give this video a thumbs up and help us if you can to share our videos. I've got a few questions in my mind. When we begin to imagine that such kind of things happened, then questions that linger in our mind is, did we have a government? Where was the former President Uhuru Kenyatta? If this is true, I'm informed that the president receives intelligence information in the morning. He wakes up and the first thing he does is that he's being briefed. I don't know how true this is. And then in the afternoon, he should be briefed. In the evening, before he sleeps, he should know what is happening in your village where you're watching this video, in town where you're watching this video, wherever you are. And Uhuru Kenyatta invested in intelligence. In fact, at some point, it looked like Ruto had gone with the politicians. The only thing that Uhuru remained with was the military. They were then the KRA, KWS, name them, John Badi in Nairobi, the Lieutenant General. So that is the only thing that he was left with. And one would wish to ask, what kind of information was Uhuru being given? Do you think such a school could have been erected, such gates, and bank accounts are opened, they are used as polling stations, yet Uhuru Kenyatta did not know? If at all he didn't know, we must accept that he was sleeping on the job. And if he knew, we must accept that it was a long con, the way Baba Wino is putting it. I don't know any other way to look at it, because there can only be two possibilities. Either he knew or he didn't know. Let's begin from here. Either the information being given here is true or it is not. If it is not true, then we dismiss it. It rests. If the information is given is true, then we further question, was Uhuru Kenyatta aware? If he was aware, why didn't he share that information? Why didn't he act? I remember sometimes Winnie Odinga, when being questioned whether he thought Uhuru Kenyatta played her father, she said, I don't think Uhuru played my father. The only thing I don't understand is, at what point did Uhuru lose the control of deep state? And people are not talking about deep state in the sense that they wanted the deep state to steal elections, but rather to stop the stealing and manipulation of elections, period. Because many people believe elections were rigged. I am one of them. And if you want to challenge me, I would challenge you first that you open the server. So when did Uhuru lose the support of the deep state? Did he share this with Raila that he didn't have the support of the deep state? I know there are other queries like the agents were not paid from Azimio. Some people have alleged that there were politicians who took away money that was supposed to be given to agents. Yes, that was an in-house weakness. But we extend it further to the external factors like this. And that question still bothers me. Because in as much as we say, yes, Raila won and that, how did we reach to a point where some polling stations don't exist, yet they're being used? We have a government, we have a president who was supporting Raila Odinga. Number two, the whole of the system was under control of Uhuru Kenyatta. The late Professor Magoha, for someone to create bank accounts of schools that are non-existent, was he aware of this? Was he part of this? Because now it seems to me that, I don't know, things are not adding up. Professor Magoha was very strict. That one, you know. Was he aware? Yes or no? If he was not aware, we rest it there. If he was not aware, why was he not aware? He was in charge. If he was aware, then why did he allow it to happen? Only two things. Either they colluded together. He was the right-hand man of Uhuru Kenyatta. Were they aware? People like Kibichu who used to talk tough, were they aware? The awareness question lingers in my mind and very many people. When we use such schools that are non-existent and they have board members, And Magoha used to go to these schools and he knew the number of schools that were existed. Where were they? I don't know whether you see where I'm coming from. Because this is the very, very question that people are asking. Matiang'i was the cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Interior. He was in charge of the police. At some point, they even downsized the number of security that Ruto had, and they were saying it was a normal operation. And William Ruto was complaining. Then how comes at the very last moment when we needed him the most, it was not even Inspector General Mutembei who was in charge of the police, but his deputy. The police that were taken to Bomas were friendly to William Ruto, who appointed them. Yet, because I thought that it was Matiang'i. The question is, at what point did Uhuru Kenyatta and the whole system lose? I remember when Jose Camargo, the Venezuelan, was caught red-handed with his hands in the cookie jar with the election materials. And then, by the way, the only person whom I think appeared to be serious about, investigating and trying to help that situation was George Kinoti, the former DCI. But as a DCI, he was working under the director, under the instructions of George Mutembei. Hilary Mutembei, who was the Inspector General. When we were supposed to know the truth, a forensic audit was supposed to be performed, Hilary Mutembei convened a press conference with Chebukati that we have agreed to work together. And that is how the investigation about the Venezuelan Jose Camargo ended. Under the leadership of Uhuru Kenyatta, under the leadership of Matiang'i, even in defense, we had Eugene Wamalwa. Where were they? And I'm basing my questions on this kind of evidence, this kind of findings. When William Ruto is in office more than almost 2 years down the line, he has made changes in the military. He has made changes in the police. He's got a cabinet. And then we make noise. Do you think even if we find out that there is truth, what can happen? Sometimes we need to ask these questions. How did we find ourselves here in the first place? Yes, we can celebrate Raila won and all that, but how did we find ourselves in this situation? We had leaders on the ground. We had a president. We had a cabinet secretary for interior. We had a cabinet secretary for defense, a cabinet secretary for education, and not just cabinet secretaries, but principal secretaries. Kibicho and Matiang'i, very tough talking. Sometimes I'm tempted, and these are my personal opinion, we can disagree. Sometimes I'm tempted to agree with Babu Owino when he says it was a long con. William Ruto was just a deputy president. How did he rise to control the deep state? I know he could control, constituencies because he had hoodwinked the hustlers, that he would be there for them, he would form a government that would be friendly to them. That is okay. But how did he get the control? And okay, after asking all these questions, my answer is very simple. It was the power of the USA, the power of Meg Whitman, and the power of Joe Biden is the one who reigned. And I know from where I sit that if it was not a con game, if Uhuru did not deceive Raila with false hope, then he meant well, but he could not overpower the powers of the US, because even Uhuru Kenyatta himself was given victory just the same way Ruto was given in 2013 and in 2017. Uhuru Kenyatta was given. And so, from where I sit, I believe he was told, keep up from your succession politics. That is why the Inspector General was not in control, but his deputy. That is why things were not adding up. These are memories that people would want to forget. And I know this will trend for a while, and then it's gone by the wind. It is a kind of a temporary feel-good moment and an opportunity for people to start bashing each other in social media. But William Ruto is entrenched with Rigathi Gachagua. Apart from the noise in social media, what will happen? That is Why? It beholds one to ask, where was the deep state, the president? And I remember Joe Musheru, the cabinet secretary in the Ministry of IT, was saying that, oh, Raila has won. Mimi, acha niachie hapo. It's a sad situation. People want to forget this. But I can assure that if people get an opportunity to kill Chebukati, they will. People are very mad. It was a conduit. It was a cartel. It was a group. How I wish that one day people like Musheru, people like Matiani, people like Eugene Omalwa and Uhuru tell us the truth, because I still believe the truth is out there. If you ask me without, um, from my personal opinion, it was just the US. That's my take.